The evening began quietly in Genoa City, but anyone who had lived there long enough knew that quiet moments rarely stayed quiet for long. Billy Abbott stood alone near the window of his apartment, staring down at the city lights while his phone rested untouched on the table behind him. He had spent most of the day avoiding Sally, avoiding Audra, and perhaps most of all avoiding the decision that had been growing heavier in his mind with every passing hour. Billy had made reckless choices before. He had hurt people he loved, chased impossible victories, and convinced himself that he could repair damage after it was already done. But this time was different. This time there was a child involved, and Billy could no longer tell himself that waiting would somehow make everything easier. When Sally finally walked through the door, she immediately knew something was wrong. "Billy." He turned slowly. Sally studied his face. "You've been ignoring my calls." "I know. That's all you're going to say?" Billy exhaled. "We need to talk." For words. Sally had heard variations of them before, and almost none had led anywhere good. She put her handbag down and crossed her arms. "Okay, talk." Billy hesitated. That hesitation frightened her more than anger would have. "Is this about Audra?" Billy's eyes shifted away for half a second. Sally noticed. "Of course it is," she said bitterly. "What happened now?" "Audra needs help. Audra always needs something when she wants someone involved in her life. This isn't like that." "Then tell me what it is." Billy turned toward her completely. "It's the baby." Sally's expression changed. She had already heard enough pieces of the situation to know that Audra's pregnancy had become complicated emotionally. Questions surrounding the child's future had been swirling, and Audra, despite her tough exterior, had been struggling with fears she refused to admit publicly. But Sally still didn't understand why Billy looked as though he were preparing to confess something unforgivable. "What about the baby?" Billy swallowed. "I told Audra I would help." Sally frowned. "Help how?" Billy said nothing. "Billy, I told her that the baby wouldn't grow up without a father." For several seconds, Sally simply stared at him. Then she laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. "What exactly does that mean?" "It means what it sounds like." "No, it doesn't. Because you're not the father." "I know. Then why are you talking like you are?" Billy stepped closer. "Because biology isn't the only thing that makes somebody a parent." Sally's face went pale. Suddenly the pieces connected. "No." "Sally." "No." "Don't say it." "I already made the promise." Her eyes widened. "You already promised Audra?" "Yes." Without talking to me, Billy lowered his voice. She was terrified. "And that gave you the right to make a life-changing decision for both of us?" "I wasn't making it for you." The sentence escaped before Billy could stop it. Sally froze. Billy immediately regretted the wording. That came out wrong. "No," Sally whispered. "I think it came out exactly right." She stepped away from him. "You weren't making the decision for me, because I wasn't part of the decision." "Sally, listen." "I am listening. I'm listening to the man I love tell me that he has decided to become a father to another woman's child without even asking where that leaves our relationship." Billy rubbed his forehead. "I didn't plan this." "You never plan the disasters, Billy. That's always the excuse afterward. That's not fair." "Fair?" Sally's voice cracked. "You want to discuss fair?" She stared at him with tears forming in her eyes. "You know what losing a child did to me. You know what motherhood means to me. You know how difficult it is for me to even talk about that part of my life. And now you stand there and casually tell me that you've promised to raise Audra's baby?" "I didn't say casually. That makes it worse." Billy remained silent. Sally walked toward the window and wiped at her eyes before the tears could fall. "What does Audra expect?" "She doesn't expect me to replace anyone." Sally turned sharply. "Then what exactly are you replacing?" "Nobody." Billy stopped talking in circles. He finally said it plainly. "I want to be there for the child. Every day. Not as Uncle Billy. Not as some family friend who shows up with presents. If Audra wants me to take on that responsibility, I'm prepared to do it." Sally stared at him. "And where am I?" Billy's silence answered before his words could. Sally slowly shook her head. "No." "Sally, where am I in that future?" Billy looked genuinely tortured. I don't know. That answer broke something between them. Sally's tears finally fell. She nodded as though she had received confirmation of something she desperately hoped wasn't true. Then there isn't a future for us. Billy stepped forward. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Before Billy could respond, someone knocked. Sally looked toward the door. Neither of them needed to ask who it was. Billy opened it. Audra stood outside. Her confident expression disappeared the instant she saw Sally's face. Oh. Sally gave a cold laugh. Perfect timing. Audra looked at Billy. I can come back. No, Sally replied. Stay. Sally, Billy warned. No. She should hear this too. Audra entered cautiously. Sally looked from Audra to Billy. Did you ask him to be your child's father? Audra hesitated. I asked Billy for support. That wasn't my question. Audra's eyes hardened defensively. I was scared. So, you asked my partner to build a family with you? I didn't ask him to leave you. You didn't need to. Audra glanced toward Billy. Billy made his own decision. Sally laughed through her tears. There it is. Billy moved between them. This isn't helping. No, Sally said. Actually, it is. For the first time tonight, everything is becoming very clear. Audra softened. Sally, I never wanted to hurt you. Then you should have come to me. I didn't know how. We were supposed to be friends. We are. Friends don't quietly plan a future involving the same man. Audra flinched. That's not what happened. Then tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Billy isn't preparing to raise your baby. Audra couldn't. Sally nodded. Exactly. She turned toward Billy. Choose. Billy's face tightened. Don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You already made the choice. I just want to hear you say it. Sally. Me or this promise to Audra. Audra stepped forward. Sally, you don't have to. Stay out of it. Billy stared at Sally. She could see every thought moving behind his eyes. She knew Billy cared about her. She knew that whatever was happening wasn't simple. But there were moments when love wasn't measured by what someone felt. It was measured by what they chose. And Billy had already chosen. I can't abandon the baby, he said. Sally closed her eyes. There it was. She opened them again. Then we're finished. Sally. We're finished, Billy. She walked toward the bedroom. Billy followed. Wait. Sally turned. For what? So you can explain why becoming another woman's child's father somehow shouldn't affect me? I love you. Then why wasn't I part of the conversation? Billy had no answer. Sally disappeared into the bedroom and returned several minutes later with a suitcase. Audra looked horrified. Sally, please don't leave because of me. Sally stopped. This isn't because of you alone. It's because Billy looked at our relationship, looked at this situation, and decided he could gamble with us. Billy reached for the suitcase. Put that down. No. You don't have to leave tonight. I absolutely do. You're angry. I'm heartbroken. The honesty silenced him. Sally looked directly into Billy's eyes. There's a difference. Billy released the suitcase handle. For a moment, neither moved. Then Sally whispered, I hope that child gets everything you're promising. I really do. But I won't stand here and pretend this doesn't destroy me. She headed toward the door. Billy followed her into the hallway. Sally. She stopped without turning. Please. Sally finally faced him. Billy looked more vulnerable than he had all evening. I never wanted this to happen. That's the problem, Billy. You keep believing intentions erase consequences. He stepped closer. Where are you going? I don't know. Stay in Genoa City. Sally looked at him with disbelief. Why? Because this is your home too. Is it? Of course it is. Then why do I suddenly feel like there's nothing here for me? Billy shook his head. Don't make a permanent decision tonight. Sally looked down at her suitcase. I'm not the one who made the permanent decision. Then she walked away. Billy remained in the hallway until the elevator doors closed. Inside the apartment, Audra stood with tears in her eyes. When Billy returned, she whispered, Go after her. Billy stared at the closed door. I can't. Why? Because she asked me to choose. Audra's voice became shaky. And you chose my child. Billy looked at her. I chose not to let a kid grow up wondering why everyone walked away. Audra lowered her head. You might hate me someday for this. Billy shook his head. No. But Sally will. Billy didn't answer. Across town, Sally checked into the Genoa City Athletic Club and sat alone on the edge of the bed. She stared at her phone, half expecting Billy to call. He didn't. Then there was a knock. Sally opened the door and found Adam standing there. His expression changed immediately when he saw the suitcase. What happened? Nothing. Adam looked at her tear-stained face. That doesn't look like nothing. I don't want to talk about it. Billy. Sally looked away. Adam sighed. What did he do? Adam, please. I'm not trying to start something. For once. Sally almost smiled, but she couldn't. Adam stepped inside. Tell me. Sally finally whispered. Billy chose Audra's baby. Adam stared at her. What? He's going to raise the child. As what? A father. Adam looked stunned. And you're okay with this? Do I look okay? No. Sally sat down. I gave him a choice. Adam immediately understood. And he didn't choose you. Sally's eyes filled again. No. Adam sat beside her. For once, he didn't criticize Billy. He didn't use the moment to remind Sally of their own history. He simply stayed beside her. After several minutes, Sally said, I think I'm leaving Genoa City. Adam turned. No. I can't stay here. You have a company, friends, a life. I also have memories on every corner. So, I need somewhere I can breathe. Adam stood. Don't let Billy Abbott chase you out of your own life. He isn't chasing me. Then what do you call it? Sally didn't answer. The next morning, news of the breakup began spreading. Genoa City had always possessed an almost supernatural ability to discover private information. By lunchtime, Jack knew. He confronted Billy at society. Tell me this isn't true. Billy barely looked up. Depends what you heard. That you ended things with Sally because you've decided to raise Audra's child. I didn't end things. Jack stared at him. You cannot possibly believe that distinction matters. Sally gave me an ultimatum. And I couldn't make the choice she wanted. Jack sat across from his brother. Why are you doing this? Billy looked frustrated. Because a child needs stability. And you suddenly believe you're the only person capable of providing it? No. Then why you? Billy was silent. Jack studied him. This isn't just about the baby. Billy looked away. Jack continued. You're trying to save something again. I'm not. You are. Whenever you feel powerless, you find something to rescue. That's not what this is. Then explain it. Billy leaned forward. Audra is terrified. She won't admit it, but she is. She thinks she has to handle everything alone. I know what that kind of fear does to people. Jack softened slightly. And Sally? Billy looked down. I hurt her. You shattered her. I know. Then fix it. Billy shook his head. I can't promise Sally what she wants without breaking the promise I made to Audra. Jack sighed. You may discover that promises made out of guilt can cost more than you expect. Meanwhile, Sally made another decision. She accepted a business opportunity outside Genoa City. It wasn't permanent, at least not officially, but it gave her an escape route. When Audra learned about it, she immediately went to see Sally. Sally was packing. You're really leaving? For a while. Sally, don't. Sally continued folding clothes. I'm not asking permission. I know. Audra moved closer. I need you to understand something. Billy and I are not together. Not yet. Audra looked offended. That isn't what I want. Maybe not consciously. Sally. Sally stopped packing. You came to Billy because you knew who he was. You knew he'd feel responsible. You knew he'd want to save you. That isn't fair. Maybe not. Sally looked directly at her. But tell me you never once imagined what it might feel like to have Billy beside you through this. Audra didn't answer. Sally nodded. That's what I thought. Audra's eyes filled. I don't want your life. You already changed it. Audra whispered. I'm sorry. Sally's expression softened for only a moment. I believe you. Audra seemed surprised, but being sorry doesn't put things back the way they were. That evening, Billy discovered Sally's plan. He rushed to the athletic club. "You're leaving tomorrow?" Sally zipped her suitcase. "Yes." "For how long?" "I don't know." "Where?" "Does it matter?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because I care about you." Sally turned sharply. "Then stop making this harder." Billy moved closer. "I don't want you leaving Genoa City because of me. I'm not leaving because of you." "Then why?" "I need to remember who I am without you." Billy's anger disappeared. "Sally, I spent too much of my life fighting to be chosen. By family, by men, by people who saw the worst thing I ever did and decided that was all I would ever be." Billy listened silently. "I'm done auditioning for a place in someone's life. You never had to audition with me. Tonight proved otherwise." Billy shook his head. "I love you. And you chose a different future. I chose a child who needs someone. And I respect that." Billy looked surprised. Sally continued. "That's what makes this so painful. I don't think helping a child is wrong. I think making that decision without me told me everything I needed to know about our relationship." The next morning, news of the breakup began spreading. Genoa City had always possessed an almost supernatural ability to discover private information. By lunchtime, Jack knew. He confronted Billy at society. "Tell me this isn't true." Billy barely looked up. "Depends what you heard. That you ended things with Sally because you've decided to raise Audra's child." "I didn't end things." Jack stared at him. "You cannot possibly believe that distinction matters. Sally gave me an ultimatum. And I couldn't make the choice she wanted." Jack sat across from his brother. "Why are you doing this?" Billy looked frustrated. "Because a child needs stability. And you suddenly believe you're the only person capable of providing it?" "No." "Then why you?" Billy was silent. Jack studied him. "This isn't just about the baby." Billy looked away. Jack continued. "You're trying to save something again." "I'm not." "You are. Whenever you feel powerless, you find something to rescue. That's not what this is." "Then explain it." Billy leaned forward. "Audra is terrified. She won't admit it, but she is. She thinks she has to handle everything alone. I know what that kind of fear does to people." Jack softened slightly. "And Sally?" Billy looked down. "I hurt her. You shattered her." "I know." "Then fix it." Billy shook his head. "I can't promise Sally what she wants without breaking the promise I made to Audra." Jack sighed. "You may discover that promises made out of guilt can cost more than you expect. Meanwhile, Sally